hated.
Well, I don't mind them being hated because they could play that role of the bad boy Pistons. They have a lot of dog in them. They have a lot of dog. They have a lot of fight, and I want to see that more. I want to see James Johnson getting into a shouting match with Derrick Rose. I want to see, I want to see Patrick Patterson not back down from anybody. I want to see Jonas Valanciunas go right into Joakim Noah's grill and talk about how great he is as a player. I don't want Jonas to be the nice guy anymore. I want Jonas to prove to people like Barkley who find ways to nitpick on his game. I want Valanciunas to rise to the occasion and play with some more anger.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, like in the sense of they got to play with more grit and like don't back down. Like I see you want to see DeMar DeRozan get in the face of LeBron or something like that. Kinda,
yeah, that's what I want because I don't think
kind of
people
a nice guy role. Like their team's kind of a nice guy team.
Yeah, the thing about Toronto, and I feel like I worry if people in the East or people in general take them seriously because maybe it's a good thing that they kind of play like this nice guy, like kill them with kindness type of thing because anytime people play Toronto, they think it's a joke. They think this is not for real. They think this is a fluke. And it's not. This franchise is going to be at the top for years and years to come.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, I'm done talking about Toronto. We always have two agendas that we have to meet every single time. We have to talk about the Lakers and we have to talk about the Raptors. That's a guarantee on In the Paint.
From the media.
Yeah, that's a guarantee on In the Paint. Raptors, Lakers agenda. So enjoy, fans.
Okay, I put down 4 players who probably could get traded next year. Darren Williams. They said they're basically shopping a lot of guys in Brooklyn. Darren, Joe Johnson, and Brook Lopez. Could you see Darren Williams getting moved to a bad team or a contender or anywhere next year?
Yeah, Brooklyn's in the most odd situation with such an old team. And they're kind of meaty. I mean, the worst thing in the NBA is to be average. Because if you think about it, if you're average for a long time, it's better to be in Philly's spot in a way because you can get a great draft pick. But being average is just horrible in the NBA. No franchise wants to be average for a long time. And I feel like if Brooklyn doesn't shop for Darren Williams and get him out of Brooklyn, they're going to be average for a very long time.
Yeah, I think moving Darren Williams would be a nice move. I don't know where you send him or what you could get for him. Maybe he goes back to Utah.
Ooh.
And Utah gives up like Trey Burke and like Enes Kanter or something like that.
Yeah, that would be good. And then you have Darren Williams and Gordon Hayward 2-on-5 show. I want to see that.
And then Joe Johnson could go almost anywhere. A lot of teams need a guy who could spot up, who can take over a game.
Would he be willing? Do you think he would want to come off the bench?
No, I don't think he's
so?
That kind of guy. He's a starter on most teams.
What about for San Antonio?
He'd start because you just have to move Danny Green to the bench.
Yeah,
but he'd go into the system. He wouldn't flow with it at first, but by the end of the year, he could definitely figure out how to work in that type of Spurs system.
Yeah, I think also another team too, the Pelicans. They're kind of a young, fun team. He can give them that scoring, extra spark when it comes to scoring. It would be good for the Pelicans if they want to win a championship right now, even though I don't think they are going all out for this year, but that would be, interesting if the Pelicans had Joe Johnson. I mean, that would be tough for any team if they make it to the playoffs to beat them.
What about a player like David Lee in Golden State? He's yet to play any significant minutes. He's been injured all year, basically. And they've been rolling. We know Draymond Green has filled in nicely for him. And he may get put to a bench role. If you're Golden State, do you think about moving David Lee and try to find other pieces?
No, I think David Lee should stay. The Warriors should not worry about talent. Because they have all the talent you need. They have all the pieces. They have the coach. They have the fans. They have everything. The only thing that will count is execution. Mm-hmm. And don't mess up the chemistry, like you said about the Atlanta Hawks earlier. And we shouldn't mess the chemistry up in Golden State.
So, but wouldn't David Lee kind of mess it up with him being back? Since he's missed all year? Yeah,
but if you give up David Lee, I think more teams would just want more than David Lee, too. I think... You think he would mess up the chemistry? I don't really think so, because he's a good passer. He's a good shooter. I mean, he's pretty fundamentally sound. He's not an out-of-control player. I don't know how he would mess up the chemistry.
Well, just the way they've been playing, and that he kind of slow the game down.
You're right. They do play at a fast pace. I mean, that's a good point. But I think you ease him in. You give him 10 minutes. You give him 15 minutes. But you don't automatically play him 30 to 35 and disrupt the flow. I think, you ease him in, and then you'll eventually pull it through. And I see that for Golden State. Golden State can compete with anybody. We know that. And I don't think they need to trade David Lee. But where would you trade David Lee?
I think Boston could be a good place for him.
Ooh, yeah.
If you can get back, I don't... Boston, if they could find a way to get him in Boston and get some significant pieces back, or he goes to Houston, who really needs a power forward at this time.
Houston's just desperate. They need one more big free agent or big talent.
Yeah, if they can get Josh Smith, that'd be great. But a guy like Greg Monroe for Detroit. Is Detroit done making moves, or was this just the first of many? I think they're going to overhaul their team during the season and maybe now move Greg Monroe, or was a Smith trade an opportunity for him to shine in the offense?
I think they should keep the team where it's at. Or I think Monroe should stay. I don't know about whether or not, a guy like a Brandon Jennings, maybe. I think he, could go. I just think Monroe should stay. I think you can really build a playoff type team with a Greg Monroe. I really do believe that.
He's a good player. He's been kind of not hidden, but hasn't been able to really shine because of Josh Smith being there in such a crowded front court with basically three guys who can play power forward or center. But now that Smith is out, Monroe can play more freely, can get the ball more because there's one less mouth to feed. A guy we've been talking about a lot, all the shows, even before the season, Dion Waiters.
Yes.
He's seemingly been on the trading block a lot. Do you think the Cavs are going to actually move him before the trade deadline?
Well, you mentioned before the show about how Bleacher Report said Waiters for a Lopez brother, and Robin Lopez, if they could trade, I think they should trade Waiters to Portland and get Robin Lopez because you have two dominant guys down low, and Lopez and Verjao, and gosh, that would be dangerous. I mean, how would Kyle Lowry be able to go down the middle of the lane, or even Derrick Rose, and float it right over the top of the outstretched arms of a Verjao or a Lopez? I mean, I think that's nearly impossible. So if I'm Cleveland, I try to go after Robin Lopez.
Yeah, he fits with. He's kind of like a Verjao type player. Just they both got the floppy hair, but besides that, Lopez is a better defender than Verjao. Well, Robin, not Brooke, but yeah, Robin's a better defender, and we know Cleveland probably couldn't trade Verjao because LeBron, his insistence that Verjao stays. So it's not like you'd be able to trade Verjao. You just have to keep him there. And waiters for say Robin Lopez, I don't think that would work for Portland's side.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you would have to add more to the deal, but I don't know. Portland's just not risky when it comes to moves. That's the thing.
They're very conservative when it comes to like trades and free agency. They only get guys who they know. They don't take many risks when it comes to, like helping out their team.
And that's part of the reason why they're so successful.
Mhm. Yeah, their lineup I think is probably one of the best lineups in the league.
Yeah.
Has the offense, it has the defense. That bench is still not quite there, but their offense is just so powerful that they don't need a super strong bench. A mediocre bench will do for a team like Portland.
Yeah, but wouldn't we say the same thing about Dallas or no?
Yeah, I would say the same thing about Dallas. They're similar teams. Their scoring comes from the same position, the guard and the power forward. They're similar teams. I think Dallas has a slightly better bench than Portland. But if those two teams face off in the playoffs, that'll be a heck of a matchup.
Yeah, in general, when it comes to the West, I think every first round series could go 7 games.
Whoa!
Each one. Why not? I mean, there's so much talent everywhere. There's so many great coaches everywhere in the West. I mean, it seems like every matchup will go in 7 games.
I don't think a team like San Antonio will let. I think they can close out most teams before 7. Like,
well,
how
they
many
didn't
7-game
last
series
year.
have we seen San Antonio in the last few years? Okay, we've seen them in a few actually.
Well, last year they went 7 games with Dallas.
That's true. That would have been a crazy series. That would have changed the whole outcome of the playoffs itself.
Yeah, and that would have been
the Heat would have won again.
Yes, and then LeBron James would have still gone to Cleveland, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I don't. Yeah, because
I think a ring would have stopped him from going to Cleveland, but it would have been a much harder decision.
Nah, well, I mean, yeah, I mean for him, but if it was for me, I would have. I mean, right after the championship parade, I would just go get on the airplane and say, "Bye, guys, I'm going to Cleveland."
Because that's cold.
Because I mean, why? I don't want to play with the old Dwayne Wade who I feel bad for Wade, but I don't really want to play with Justin Hamilton. I want to play with Verjao. I don't want to play with I don't want Chalmers taking shots away from me. I want Kyrie to take shots away from me. So, and I want to go play under that amazing revolutionary head coach named David Blatt.
Oh,
who's going to change everything in Cleveland. What he is? Do you support David Blatt or no?
He's a good coach, but I don't know if he's one of the best in the NBA yet. But he
will be. Can I make a prediction? I'm going to make a prediction.
Okay.
we will consider by the end of David Blatt's career, we will consider him a top 15 coach